Good morning, traders. It is before the open on Thursday, April 24th. Here's your game plan for today. When the first move is wimpy, we can expect that the market's going to reverse as soon as that move runs out of steam. Doesn't matter if the market opens higher or lower. Yesterday, we had a big gap up, and you can see how we had mixed overlapping candles trying to get through the high of the day. Couldn't do it. Market was struggling to advance. Eventually, sellers came in. They took control, upward sloping trend line, a breach of the VWAP along with that trend line. Market starts drifting lower, takes out the low of the day. Okay, now you know, and you've got confirmation off of a double top that the downside is what you should be favoring. The market leaks into this gap and it never quite recovers through the course of the day. Let's take a quick look at the overnight price action. You can see relatively flat. We're going to open roughly where we closed the previous day. So what's the game plan right now? What does the overall market look like? I want to emphasize to you what the longer term picture looks like. This is a daily chart of the SPY. I am going to respect this big 20% drop from the high this year. That is what we cannot lose focus of. The longer term trend is down. You can see that the purple line here is the 50-day moving average. The black line is the 200-day moving average. That is a death cross. That is a bearish cycle that has started. So we've got a bounce, and during a market pullback like this, we're going to get bounces. And that's why we were taking profits in here. We knew a bounce was coming, but we didn't quite know when. And so now we've got that big bounce. It's really amounted to this long green candle from 2 weeks ago. And you can see how we do have a higher low, but this is what I'm expecting the market to do. You can see this faded blue line here. I'm looking for this bounce to start showing signs of strain. As we start getting earnings reports, the reactions aren't quite that good. Economic data points coming out. Next week, we've got GDP. The Fed's been looking for a 2.5% decline in Q1 GDP. That could make some people nervous. Still not seeing deterioration in the jobs market. Initial jobless claims this morning, 222,000. It's a decent number. But global economic conditions are deteriorating. It's just a matter of time until that comes over to the US. But right now, it's all tariff news. Tariffs are going to go up. Tariffs are going to go down. I like Xi. Xi's been ripping us off. So you're getting all of this turbulence in the marketplace right now based on these statements. Once this news settles down over the course of the next 2 weeks or so, we're going to have earnings reactions that we're able to gauge. We're going to be able to see what the Fed is saying. They're going to stay hawkish. They're going to stay tight for longer. Even though other central banks have been easing, the Fed has said that they're happy with where current interest rates are. Higher interest rates eventually are going to strangle consumption. So this is the type of movement that I'm looking for. We get that mega cap earnings reports coming out. We've got Google after the close today. Those stocks have been hit pretty hard, but the news there is also a little negative because you've got antitrust lawsuits popping up, be they in Europe or even here domestically. So you start bumping up against this resistance level, which is SPY 550, and then gradually starting to show that the market can't advance. That is when our longer term bearish swing trades will present an opportunity for us. So we still need another week or so. Let this news go through. The focus has been on tariffs, but the real problem is macro growth around the globe. That's the problem. And right now I feel like tariff news is getting in the way of that. So don't take your eye off the prize. The prize is that a longer term swing short is going to set up. So be patient for the next week or so. I'm already comfortable starting to take swing positions in here, but why would I do that when we've got major news pending? Let's let that news cycle flow through. Let's see the reaction. Let's make sure that this 550 level on SPY is going to hold. And then we can start considering which stocks have not participated in this market bounce. If they have stayed on the deck and they can't get off the deck, that tells us that there is a lot of selling pressure, and those are going to be our best shorting opportunities. Quick look at MSTR. Didn't do anything yesterday. Red line below zero. Relative weakness, even with a monster market gap higher. MSTR is largely a play on Bitcoin. So cryptocurrencies, it's not like your normal stocks. I thought I saw a nice little breakout on a D1 basis, and you can see where that breakout would have been happening. But from the open yesterday, there was no reason to take a long position. We never had confirmation of that breakout. So we would still be waiting to see if the stock can get through at very least the high from yesterday, that 354 level. If it can, and that strength can come at any time, then it will make an attractive long position. So I wouldn't do anything with MSTR right now. We've been selling some naked out of the money puts, taking advantage of high option implied volatilities. That's been generating some income. It's still a decent play right now, but I think the hour is late. We only have another week or two until I feel that the market's going to start showing signs of resistance. How do you day trade this market? You really want to watch for that first move to be wimpy. Now, given that the market is opening flat today, it's not going to move much one way or the other, and it's going to open right in this range right here. Let's zoom out, see if the H1 gives us any kind of clue of what's going on. You had a larger wedge formation right in here, and there's the top of the wedge. So we did break out a little bit yesterday, but we pulled right back. So we could pull right back into that trading range, and there's the lower end of the wedge. We're going to just muddle around, I believe, today. Everyone's going to be waiting for Google earnings after the close today, and then we'll just kind of get through the week. We've had some volatility. Next week, we have massive earnings announcements, GDP, job number. So I think next week, we're going to have more information to really break out of this wedge pattern, and that's what I'm watching for. Keep your trades very short term. Stick with day trades. It's going to take a while because the market's opening flat today. It's going to take a while for the market to decide which way it's going to go. I think it could even be an hour this morning where you see green candles, red candles, green candles, red candles, no real net change, and then eventually one side or the other will prevail, and you're going to get a wimpy little move. Once that decision is made, wait for that to exhaust itself and then trade that reversal. It might take 2 hours, 2.5 hours, 3 hours for that first trade to set up. Now, if you've got a stock that's oblivious to the market and it's been doing its own thing, then that's a different story. And DJT has actually been a good example of that. I highlighted this stock on Sunday as a good prospect for selling out of the money naked puts. That opportunity went by me, but you can see this stock is on its own course. It doesn't care what the market is doing, and the volume's been decent. So if you happen to find a stock like that, I don't think DJT is going to be that stock today because it's already run so far, so hard in the course of the last 3 days. It's up 20%. No, but there will be other stocks that take its place. So if you happen to find a stock on the upside or the downside that look particularly attractive like this, that are on their own mission, they're oblivious to what the market's doing, you got good volume and a technical breakout or a breakdown, fine. That's the exception. You can trade those stocks without worrying too much about what the market's doing. Otherwise, you got to wait for that window of opportunity to set up at some point today. Look for a wimpy directional move. Look for signs that it's reversing, bearish or bullish engulfing candles off of that extreme, and then you're going to have your trades set up. And as the market is making that wimpy move, you're already able to line up your picks that you're going to be trading, and you can see you want them not to be able to do what the market's doing because that tells you that they are ready to reverse. I hope my volume issues have been resolved. We spent a couple of hours on this yesterday. There was a random component that would max out my mic. So hopefully this is sounding better for all of you. Sorry you had to endure some of those videos. Trade well, keep it light, look for a relatively benign day. Big news next week, so we could be muddling around until that news actually hits. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe to the YouTube channel, turn on your notifications. I'm doing short videos through the course of the day, so I'll probably do one maybe an hour after the open. They're about 90 seconds long, and then I'll follow up with another. Thanks. Trade well.
Thank you for watching this YouTube video. I'm Pete Stolzers, and I'm going to keep the trade ideas coming along with lots of education, so make sure to subscribe to the channel and please turn on your notifications so that you never miss another trade. If you like the content, please give it a thumbs up. I've loaded 2 other videos that I think you're really going to enjoy. Stay tuned. We'll see you soon.